Hello everyone! Most people live in common and simple houses. Whether it's an apartment building or a cozy suburban house, you can find similar buildings on every part of planet Earth. But some people like breaking the rules and building unusual and even weird houses. Neighbors may laugh at them, but it means nothing to these creative people. After all, it's mostly just envy. But when these people look inside these houses, okay, let's not jump ahead. You better check out these houses with your own eyes. Let's get it on. Invisible house. Did you dream of having a tree house as a kid? Or maybe you did have one. The creators of the Swedish hotel complex Tree Hotel, inspired by this idea, created several comfortable tree houses where you can stay as if you were in an ordinary hotel. The most curious room is known as the Mirror Cube. It is a surprising hideaway, nestled between trees and camouflaged with mirrors reflecting the surroundings.
I'm right here, detective.
The forests, the clouds, the whole landscape is mirrored on each wall of the cube, making it virtually invisible. If you're worried about the birds that could crash into the invisible house, we have good news. The hotel is covered with an infrared film, which can only be seen by birds. While for us humans, the walls of the cube are just a mirror, the treehouse can only be accessed via a suspension rope bridge. This unique and exclusive room features a double bed, a small bathroom, and a terrace. Inside, the Mirror Cube is decorated with birch plywood. 6 windows in different parts of the room offer a great view. Overall, it is the ideal treehouse for adults. In case you get bored looking at birds and squirrels, you can always connect to the free Wi-Fi. River house. After seeing this house, introverts or people who live in big cities and are tired of the noise will probably dream about it at night. This unusual wooden house is built on a rock sticking out of the water in the middle of the Drina River in Serbia. At first glance, it seems that the house ended up in the middle of the water by accident, maybe because of a flood or a hurricane, because no one in their right mind would build a house on a rock, would they? However, the house was put up here in 1968 by a group of friends for their summer vacation. They usually got to the house by swimming, despite the Drina's fast current. At first, they built a kind of canopy on the island, but then they came up with the idea of building a house. The big boards were simply sent downstream. The rest of the materials were delivered by boat, and after a while, a beautiful house appeared on the rock. The fluctuations of the water level destroyed the house several times, but it has always been rebuilt because it has become a worldwide renowned local attraction. And all thanks to Irene Becker, who took a photograph of Drina House in 2012. Her photo was selected by the National Geographic website as the best photo of August that year, and since then, this place has become popular among tourists. House on the roof. What can you do if you want to build the mountaintop house of your dreams, but you don't have a place to do it? A Chinese man named Zhang Lin found a very peculiar way to make his dreams come true. He decided to build his mansion on the roof of an apartment building in Beijing. First, Lin bought a penthouse, and in the span of 6 years, he brought tons of rocks and rubble to the terrace to create a small mountain on the top. Finally, he did build a mountaintop house at the top of the building, but Lin didn't even think about asking for a construction permit. Terrible mistake. Residents of the building constantly complained about the noise and debris coming from the site. In addition, cracks appeared in the walls, the roof began to crumble, and some residents' apartments were flooded when it rained. As a result, Lin was ordered to demolish his villa because it posed a threat to the integrity of the building. Due to the weight of the stones, it could have collapsed at any moment. Underground houses. The majority of Australia's population lives on the coast, near water and trees, but there are people who don't mind settling in the desert. However, the heat here is unbearable. There are sandstorms and not even a shred of shade. So, how can someone live in these conditions? The people at Kuba Pedi, where opals are mined, have the answer. The locals have built underground houses for more than a century. This is how they managed to keep the temperature in their homes at around 22 degrees Celsius without using air conditioning. Of course, you can find common houses which use modern technology in Cuba Pedy. However, many locals still prefer underground houses, but not only out of respect for tradition. This standard house with 3 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen and a bathroom can be dug out on a hillside at a price similar to a normal house, and you won't have to spend money on air conditioning. After the city became popular among tourists, even underground hotels with all the amenities were built here. House on the water. When this couple of Canadian artists realized that they would never earn enough money to buy a house with their art, they decided to build a house with their own hands. The result was a unique island house surrounded by a garden. The floating home was created by Catherine King and Wayne Adams and is known as Freedom Cove. It is located on a lake in the Canadian province of British Columbia. It takes 45 minutes to reach the nearest city by boat. Wayne is proud of having built the house using only a saw and a hammer without the help of power tools. Construction began in the early 1990s. Today, the 12 interconnected floating platforms hold different creatively painted rooms, as well as a garden, a workshop, sculptures, an art gallery, and even a dance floor. By the way, there's also a lighthouse, which also serves as a shower, because every inch of the island is used to its fullest. Freedom Cove is an excellent example of eco-friendly living. Its owners recycle all their waste, grow their own food in greenhouses and fish. In summer, they drink water from coastal waterfalls, and in winter from snow and rain, and electricity is supplied by solar panels. Hobbit Town. Another ecological and very unusual house can be found in Wales. Jasmine and Simon Dale created a real hobbit house, although their original plan was to simply build an eco-friendly home. The unique house, which would be the envy of any hobbit, was built in just a few months. Simon and his father-in-law were in charge of the project, and about 1,000 people came to help them. In the end, they all had so much fun that they started building similar houses in the area. Simon Dale is now in charge of many projects, helping others turn their homes into a fairy tale.
At the end of every day, I could sit back and see the thing that we've made and know where the piece of wood had come from.
But the couple didn't limit themselves to creating an eco house. Simon and Jasmine grow almost all the food they eat, and they are absolutely happy. Plane house. Bruce Campbell lives on an airplane. No, he's not an actor, and it's not a figure of speech. Bruce Campbell, a 69-year-old American engineer from Hillsboro, Oregon, bought a second-hand Boeing 727-200 for $100,000 over 15 years ago and turned it into his dream house. Of course, Bruce had to get rid of the seats to build a bedroom, a living room, and an office inside the plane. In addition, he prepares breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the former crew kitchen. Campbell had to modernize the old bathroom and install a shower. However, not everyone considers living in such a house to be particularly cozy, because after all, it is a plane. Nobody would decorate their living room like an aircraft, right? But Bruce doesn't agree, because his house is functional and comfortable. Many people visit Bruce to see and admire the unusual house in the state, and he enjoys arranging tours for his guests. To get inside the airplane house, you have to go up the stairs at the end of the aircraft. The place is surrounded by a tidy lawn, which is regularly mowed by the owner. It looks like the front yard of any suburban house. Bruce also removes fallen leaves and other debris from the wings, which looks somewhat funny, to be honest. Houseboats. In the south of England in West Sussex, there's a village of floating houses. Sometimes they look more like houses stuck in the mud by the tide, but who cares? Each boat is made of spare parts from old buses, rockets, and planes, which makes them all unique. No houseboat here is like any other. Hamish Mackenzie stands out among community members. This houseboat restorer combined his creativity with his love of fooling around to create a truly remarkable home. Or rather, several houses, because Hamish owns 7 boats. He uses a microwave as a mailbox. He can play music with a saw, and many people would call him a weirdo. Who else would have the nose of a plane in their house? Well, apart from Bruce Campbell from the previous video, of course. Hamish moved here more than 30 years ago when he was living on the street. Friends told him about the boats, and he was thrilled with the idea of living in a floating house. Now Hamish has everything he's dreamed of, and he clearly dreamed of many things. For example, of windows made of tractor wheels. Because why not? Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.